Choosing the right food for heart health is a simple and inexpensive way of decreasing our cardiovascular disease risk. Cardiovascular disease is one of the leading causes of death around the world. Join me in this video while we take a look at the role the diet plays in cardiovascular disease. Choosing the right food for heart health is the simplest lifestyle intervention available to decrease cardiovascular disease risk. Poor dietary quality is strongly associated with increased cardiovascular disease risk. In order to decrease the incidence of cardiovascular disease, several combinations of foods and beverages have been formulated and collectively are called dietary patterns. These include dietary patterns such as the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, or the dietary approach to stop hypertension, the healthy US diet, the healthy vegetarian diet, etc. From 1906 to 1907, Alexander Ignatovsky, who was affiliated with the laboratory of Nobel Prize winning scientist Ivan Pavlov, conducted experiments to determine whether a high-protein diet was toxic and whether it accelerated the aging process. He fed rabbits large quantities of meat, eggs, and milk. What he found was that the young rabbits got sick and the older rabbits developed hardening of the arteries or atherosclerosis. Now at the time, atherosclerosis was considered the hallmark of aging, and therefore Ignatovsky concluded that a high-protein diet did indeed accelerate the aging process. A connection between diet and serum cholesterol was reported as early as 1916. Cornelius de Langen reported that the serum cholesterol levels of Indonesian citizens was markedly lower than that of Dutch colonists. In 1922, he conducted what was probably the first study to examine the effect of diet on serum cholesterol. Indonesian citizens were fed a Dutch diet rich in meat and eggs for 3 months. And those who consumed this diet saw their serum cholesterol rise by 27%. Those Indonesians who had migrated to Amsterdam also saw their serum cholesterol levels rise to the high level of those of the Dutch. Cardiovascular disease starts during fetal development and early childhood, so that the greatest benefit is derived when a heart-healthy diet is started even before conception and carried on for the duration of our lives. It is crucial to prevent childhood obesity in order to establish and maintain optimum cardiovascular health. Key to the prevention of cardiovascular disease is the maintenance of a healthy body weight. This can be achieved through portion control and regular exercise. Numerous studies have demonstrated the benefits of a diet high in unprocessed whole grains compared to a diet with refined grains. This diet is associated with a lower incidence of cardiovascular disease. The Mediterranean diet is the traditional diet of the people living in the Mediterranean basin on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea in countries such as Greece, Italy, and Spain. During the 1950s, researchers noticed that people who followed this diet had a low incidence of cardiovascular disease, as well as a low incidence of type 2 diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, Alzheimer's disease, and all-cause mortality in certain cancers were lower than in other populations. This led to a series of studies that confirmed the benefits of this diet. One of the main features of heart-healthy dietary patterns is the consumption of vegetables, fruits, and nuts in generous quantities. Numerous studies have demonstrated that consuming high-fiber, unprocessed grains is associated with lower serum cholesterols and decreased cardiovascular risk. A key feature of the Mediterranean diet is the frugal consumption of meats and an increase in the consumption of fish and legumes as sources of protein. This, however, is not always practical or affordable in all parts of the world, so that if alternative sources of animal protein are sought, it is advisable to choose low-fat or fat-free dairy products, or to choose lean cuts of meat or poultry, and to avoid processed meats. The pillar of the Mediterranean diet is the consumption of unsaturated fatty acids in the form of olive oil. Up to 40% or more of the calories consumed by people living in the Mediterranean basin were derived from olive oil. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fatty acids. Later, studies demonstrated that the substitution of saturated fat in the diet with unsaturated fats reduce serum cholesterol and decrease the incidence of heart attacks and strokes. Saturated fats are solid at room temperature and can be found in plant sources such as coconut oil, palm kernel oil, or in animal sources such as lard or butter. Trans fats, which are mostly derived from partially hydrogenated oils, can also raise the serum cholesterol and also can decrease the good cholesterol or HDL. Both monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids are effective at lowering the serum cholesterol and decreasing cardiovascular risk. Recent studies, however, seem to suggest that polyunsaturated fatty acids are superior to monosaturated fatty acids in this respect. There is, however, still debate surrounding this topic, and further studies will be needed to clarify the role of monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids in reducing serum cholesterol. Monounsaturated fats can be found in oils such as olive oil and canola oil, whereas polyunsaturated fats can be found in corn oil, soybean oil, or safflower oil. One particular type of polyunsaturated fat, known as omega-3 fatty acids, can be found in fatty fish as well as in certain tree nuts. This particular fatty acid is used to decrease serum triglyceride levels as well as to prevent irregular heartbeats. Refined carbohydrates do not confer the same benefit as unsaturated fats when used to replace saturated fats in the diet. When saturated fat in the diet is replaced with highly refined carbohydrates, there is an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Natural, unprocessed, high fiber carbohydrates, however, are associated with lower serum cholesterols and decreased cardiovascular risk. In general, all of the heart-healthy dietary patterns require the avoidance of highly processed refined foods and the selection of minimally processed or unprocessed foods. This includes the avoidance of foods with added sugars and salt. Although the Mediterranean diet includes alcohol, it was usually consumed in the form of wine at meal times and in moderate amounts. Numerous studies have shown the association between moderate alcohol consumption and low cardiovascular risk. This benefit, however, does not justify the starting of alcohol consumption if you still have not done so up to this point. By choosing the right food for heart health, you can lower your serum cholesterol and decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. I hope this video was useful and you now feel more comfortable making the correct dietary choices for your heart. If you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.